This will all become clear in the video. I just realised you don't know what I'm talking about. Hiya, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Recently a lady, one of my subscribers, sent me 2 brand new Moulds and Shapes moulds. She promised them that she would buy them if they made the set of 4. They made them. She's recently given up resin, but she honoured her agreement to buy them and she thought she'd send them to me, which I thought was so sweet. It's very charitable at this time of year and I really appreciate it, Desaria. Thank you so much. So I'm going to make these angels. Now I have 2 moulds. One is quite plain and the other has druzy type effects in the wings. And I thought I'd do something totally different with the wings. Now I put my thinking cap on and I've seen other people do similar to this. I think Louise Singleton has done this idea similarly. You know what I mean? And Claire also has touched on this idea. So I thought I'd give it a go with what I wanted to do with this mould. So let's have a look. This will all become clear in the video. I just realised you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, well, we're going to have a go at separating the wings to the bodies in these angel moulds. So these are the 2 Moulds and Shapes moulds for angels ×4. They're actually really quite a large size angel and look high quality. These are tiny little bits of plastic that I've cut up. It's a very thin plastic, but I'm hoping it would do the trick. Now these are from little plastic folders that I use quite a bit, and the plastic naturally wants to stay flat. It's not curved. So I'm hoping that I can create a dam with hot glue and this plastic. Now although it did work, I tried doing quite a few and I was struggling. So I found a different sort of plastic that is thicker and curvier. And this is more of a HDPE type plastic, I think. And it worked so much better, not only because it was thicker and curvier, but because it was a colour I could actually see. I was struggling with the other one that I couldn't see. So I hot glued them in and I held them in place just until they're set enough that I could let go and it would stay there. Now that I have my dams, I've found some pieces that I'd like to add into these wings areas. This is plastic from plastic bags. This is leftover ribbon. It's like a mesh type ribbon that I used for my Christmas Santa wreath for my door. And I thought 2 pieces of that might actually give some nice shimmery effects in the wings. This is film that I've crunched up. It is the Dichroic film and I'm using 2 different colours that I'm going to put on top of each other. They're both crunched up, but having 2 layers I find is always better. And this is another type of film that I'm trying, and again it's crunched up. I'm going to be using Let's Resin Fast Cure for this project. Not only is it fast, it's easy to use as long as you warm it up, and I think it'll be perfect. You can get more done. I squirted the moulds with isopropyl alcohol just so that it helps the resin flow into all those little nooks and crannies of the druzy type effect wings. And then I'm going to take a silicone tool and I'm just going to rub over the top of those areas so that it will get any little stuck pieces of air out. And believe me, with this type of mould you will get bubbles stuck in those little holes. So it's definitely worth taking the time to go over with a silicone tool or a micro brush or anything similar just to dislodge those little bubbles. Once that's all done and I'm happy that it's bubble free, I can start putting my film in. Now this is from a party bag, this film, and it is absolutely gorgeously coloured, really is beautiful, but it's extremely thin. And I didn't take into consideration how thin it was until it started to bend up at the edges in these moulds. But we'll see what we can do about that a bit later. Onto the ribbon. Now this is quite wholly mesh type ribbon. I wouldn't say it was material, I would say it was some kind of plastic, however. But I thought the white and silver look of it would be cool if there was 2 layers of it together. I thought it would give a good sparkly ghost-like appearance. This is another piece of film. It is from the party bags, but I've scrunched it up and I'm hoping that it will give a different appearance. And this is the Dichroic. Now the Dichroic film is my absolute favourite. I love Dichroic film, and I will put the link to this and everything else I use in this video in the description box below. I'm trying really hard to make sure there's no air underneath them. And I am putting 2 different colours to this, as I said earlier. It does make a difference. It will make them absolutely beautiful. Now, because I had trouble with the film not laying properly and literally bending at the edges, I thought, how can I press this down? What can I put on top of it to keep it from bending at the edges? So I grabbed a load of little tiny glass stones. These were purchased from Temu very recently, and they were sitting on my side, so I thought they would be perfect. So both the top right and the bottom left had the stones to keep the film down. Just a couple of hours later, and I was able to put the top coat on the wings. Now, as luck would have it, I don't know if it's luck or good design, but none of those dams that I put in place leaked. And I was so happy about that. I was really happy that none of them had leaked. The hot glue worked a charm. So I filled these wings up to almost to the top, and then I had an idea. Now some ideas work of mine and some don't, so let's see if this one does. I wanted to give these wings a black outline, and I thought, I've got some resin left over, I'll mix it up with some black, pop it into one of those needlepoint bottles and do a black outline with the needlepoint. Now I am well aware that this resin will mix with itself and the black outline won't be such a vivid, strong black outline, but it will be there. This resin has been worked now for about 15 minutes. As it's a fast cure resin, it's thickening up really quite quickly. So I used the needlepoint bottle and I piped round the outside edge of each of the wings. I squirted with isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any bubbles, and then I thought, let's do some drawing with black. So I decided to draw some lines with the black that's in the bottle. Now, like I said, this is really thickening up. I had trouble squeezing it out of the bottle, but I figured that the black wouldn't dissipate too much into the clear because of that. So I came to the clear ones at the bottom with the plasticky type ribbon in, and I decided to do some kind of drawing on them. Started off with really thin lines. I tried to make sure they were going in the right direction, in the same direction for each wing, but I got a bit confused at one point. As these were meant to be kind of ghost shadowy wings, I didn't want to put a black outline around the edge of these ones, so I thought I'd give them some kind of design. I grabbed a needle and decided to just flick in different directions the black line. I didn't know if it's going to stay, but like I said, it was thickening up, so there's no reason why it shouldn't have stayed where I put it. This was really quite cool. That's when I decided that the spikes on the second wing weren't going in the right direction. So I just changed them. And this kind of looks spiky, like a tortured wing. It's very bizarre. I don't know what I was thinking really, but I just liked the design. But this was just so much fun. I was just messing around with this black, and I just had a lot of fun with this. I had no clue what it was going to turn out like, but it wasn't the point. The point was I was enjoying myself. So this is the following day, and I need to take out the hot glue and the plastic sleeves, and every time I tried to, it was lifting the wings up, and I didn't want to break the seal. So I had to enlist my husband to help me. So he held the wings down while I took the plastic and the hot glue out, and that worked a treat. Just needed an extra pair of hands, that was all. I lifted the hot glue and plastic out, which came away for the moulds really easily. It just needed to be detached from the resin without the resin coming out of the moulds. So I was on to the final pour, of which I was going to use white Vista pigment as my main colour. 3 of them were going to be silverish with really chunky glitter, and the other one was going to be gold with goldish type glitter from Resin Supplies then. So I'm going to mix the white with the Vista white pigment. I do love this white. It is actually the purest white solid pigment I've ever come across. I've taken some of it out, and 3/4 of it is going to be coloured with the silver type glitters. Now, because it's white pigment, you can need a heavy amount of glitter to be able to see it. This is a really chunky glitter from Henway. I'm not sure where the other one was from. It's probably one I've had for years. But I did fill this with glitter. Because it's a opaque pigment, you are not going to see it otherwise. And it still looks like there's hardly any in there, but believe me, you will see it when it demolds. So 3 of them are going to be white with silver glitter. The other one in the top left is going to be gold with goldish glitter. Now I decided to do it this way because of the colours of the pieces that I've put into the wings. I'm making sure that I've got rid of all those stuck bubbles around the outside with a silicone tool and a micro brush, because we don't want anything to spoil these pieces once we've put so much hard work into them. I'm going to top them up right to the top of the mould. They are on a heat mat, by the way. It's quite cold here, so I've got them in a heat mat to make sure they cure lovely and warm, bubble free as possible and evenly. I'm putting the gold glitters in the rest of the white pigment, and these glitters from Yvonne at Resin Supplies then are beautiful, but even though it still isn't enough glitter in this white opaque pigment. So I'm going to grab some more gold that I've got on the shelf. Again, I have no clue where it's from. It's just a random gold chunky glitter, and I'm filling it with that as well, and putting some more of the other one in a second as well. I want this as gold as possible, but with a white tint. So I fill it up to the top, do all the steps as I did with the others with the micro brush, and I sprayed them all with isopropyl alcohol and left them to cure. I did leave these overnight because I was working the following day, so I didn't really have much choice. But I'm quite liking the way they look at the moment. I hope they come out the way I would like them to. So the following day I was staring at these, couldn't wait to demold them and hoping that they came out in one piece for a start. I'm pretty sure where the dam was where I put the plastic should let the colour of the body just seep a tiny bit around the wings, and that will help to secure it. And I absolutely love these. Now there is a ridge where the dam was and the resin came up to the dam, but you can always trim that back. The druzy on the front of these pieces is absolutely gorgeous. Now, like the back or like the front, I think they're both equally beautiful. Some people will prefer the back and some people will prefer the front, which is your choice. Now this one, the plastic had gone right the way up to the edge, so I didn't get a black line around the outside edge of that wing, but I think they are stunning. I've left the bodies as plain as can be because the highlight of these pieces is the wings. If I made the bodies any more spectacular, the wings would lose their appeal. Now I wasn't too sure about this one. It just looks like tinfoil in there, but it's still lovely. And as for the one with the ribbon, you can't see the ribbon at all. It had no effect. It was like it wasn't even there. So that was a bit pointless. However, the lines on the back did add something. And it's spectacular on its own with clear wings. The gold one, however, is my favourite. That one has gone to a friend of mine whose birthday was recently. And I hope she really, really likes it because I adore it. The clear one is just literally showing you how the druzy is, basically, with the black lines. And the ones with the film, I think the stones won my heart, to be honest with you. It really does work. I'm not so sure about the front. It just looks like tinfoil. It didn't really work. However, the back, for me, is the best part. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one and I hope you've got something out of it. Come back and see me next time because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting and bye for now.